You made it through. Something shifted inside you, something fundamental, something that can't be taken back. You're standing on the other side now, and the view is different. You're no longer checking your phone anxiously, no longer analyzing her texts for hidden meanings, no longer measuring your worth by her responses. You're free. Not the freedom of walking away, the freedom of staying and not needing, the freedom of wanting her without being desperate for her, the freedom of loving her without losing yourself. This is what unbothered means. Not cold, not detached, but genuinely unmoved by the storms that used to wreck you, genuinely solid in who you are. You can feel it, the difference, the weight that's gone, the tightness in your chest that used to appear when she went quiet. It's not there anymore. The anxiety that used to grip you when she tested, it doesn't touch you now. The hunger that made you chase her validation, it's satisfied. This isn't about winning her, though that's likely happening too. This is about becoming free. Free from the prison of needing her approval, free from the tyranny of her moods, free from the desperation that made you small. This freedom is the ultimate reward, not her love, not the relationship, but the man you become when you stop needing those things. That's what we're going to explore. The dimensions of this freedom, what she becomes when you embody it, what you become, and how this transformation extends far beyond one woman, one relationship, into every corner of your life. Because you came here to learn how to get her, but what you've actually gained is something far more valuable. You've gotten yourself back. She wakes up anxious, she's distant, her energy is off. Before, this would derail your entire day. You'd absorb her mood like a sponge. Your mind would race, what did I do wrong? Is she pulling away? Is this the beginning of the end? You'd scramble to fix it, to smooth it over, to bring her back to happiness. Not anymore. Now you see it clearly. Her mood is hers. Her anxiety is about her, not you. Her distance is her processing something internal. You're not responsible for fixing her emotional state. You're not the cause of it, and you're not moved by it. You can be present without being consumed. You can support without absorbing. You can remain steady while she spirals. That's freedom. The ability to love without being controlled by their moods. You've separated your emotional state from hers, and that separation is what allows genuine connection. Because now she can come to you and not worry about dragging you down. She can be human, messy, imperfect, and you won't crumble. She mentions another guy. She withdraws affection. She creates scenarios to check if you're still desperate. Before, these tests rattled you. You'd feel the spike of anxiety. You'd react with jealousy or overcompensate with indifference. Either way, you were moved. Either way, you failed. Not anymore. Now the tests don't land. Not because you're pretending not to care, but because you know your value. You know what you offer, and you know that if she chooses to leave, you'll be fine. So when she tests, you respond from strength, not reaction. Just the natural, calm response of a man who isn't afraid of losing her. She feels the difference. Her tests don't work anymore. They used to give her information, how desperate he is, how much I can push before he breaks. Now they give her nothing. You're not playing that game anymore. She's giving you everything you wanted. Affection, attention, availability. The things you used to chase are flowing freely now. Before, you'd devour this, you'd cling to it. You'd be so grateful, so desperate to keep it, that you'd start performing again. You'd start managing, controlling, making sure it doesn't stop. Not anymore. Now you receive it without desperation. You enjoy it without attachment. You're present with her when she's giving, but you're not collapsed when she's not. Because you've satisfied the hunger, not by getting more from her, but by filling yourself from within. You've built a life that doesn't revolve around her. So when she's there, it's beautiful. When she's not, you're still okay. You want her, but you don't need her. And that's the difference between love and addiction. You've become a man who can receive fully because you're not grasping, who can love deeply because you're not drowning, who can be vulnerable because you're not fragile. That's freedom. The freedom from your own hunger, the freedom to want without needing, the freedom to love without losing yourself. There's still uncertainty. You don't know if this relationship will last forever. You don't know if she'll always feel this way. Before, this uncertainty was torture. You'd try to control it, manage it, get guarantees. You'd live in constant anxiety about the future. Not anymore. Now you've accepted the fundamental truth. You can't control outcomes. All you can do is show up fully, love authentically, and trust that whatever happens is what's meant to happen. And in that acceptance, you've found peace. Not the peace of knowing everything will work out, but the peace of knowing you'll be okay either way. That's freedom. The freedom from needing things to go a certain way. The freedom to be present now, without being controlled by fear of the future. She can feel that you're not clinging. You're choosing her every day, not because you're afraid to lose her, but because you genuinely want to be with her. Something shifts in her. The way she moves through the relationship is different now. She stops testing, not because you've trained her, but because tests don't work on you anymore. They don't create the drama that used to prove you cared, so she stops. She surrenders, not in defeat, but in relief. The power struggle released. You're not trying to dominate her. You're just solid, unmoved, present. And in that solidity, she can finally let go. There's nothing to fight. You've proven, through your consistent calm, that you're safe to surrender to. When she surrenders, she becomes genuinely aligned with you. Not because she's following orders, but because your direction feels right. Your leadership feels like relief, not oppression. She respects you deeply, not performative respect, but the genuine respect that comes from witnessing a man who doesn't flinch, who remains himself regardless of what she does. She starts pursuing you, not with the desperate chase of early attraction, but with the consistent pursuit of a woman who's found something rare. She initiates. She invests. You're the man with his own gravity, his own life, his own purpose, and she wants to be part of that orbit. She becomes vulnerable in a new way. She shares the parts of herself she usually hides, the fears, the insecurities, the dreams, not to test if you'll still accept her, but because she trusts that you will, because your unbothered presence has created safety, and she loves you differently. Not the intoxicating, desperate love of early infatuation, not the anxious, clinging love of insecurity, but the deep, steady love of genuine choice. She's choosing you, not because she needs you to complete her, but because she wants you in her life. The relationship transfer. The dynamic that used to be push and pull, test and react, pursue and withdraw, it stabilizes. You're both present, both choosing, both contributing. The games are over. The performance is done. What's left is something real. But here's the deeper transformation, the one that extends beyond her into every dimension of your life. You become grounded, no longer blown around by every wind, not just her moods, but criticism, setbacks, challenges. You've found an internal anchor. People feel it, the stability, the calm. You've become the steady presence others lean on. You become clear. Your vision isn't clouded by desperation anymore. You can see what you actually want, not what would get approval, but what genuinely calls to you. With that clarity comes direction. You're building something, moving towards something, with the calm focus of a man who knows where he's going. You become calm, not false calm, the genuine calm that comes from accepting reality. You're not at war with what is. In that calm, you respond instead of react. You make decisions from wisdom instead of fear. You become present, not performing presence while your mind races, but actually here, actually engaged, with her, with friends, with life. Presence is magnetic. People want to be around someone who's actually there, who can give their full attention. You become authentic, no longer performing strength, no longer managing your image. You're just you, fully, without the desperate need for approval. Authenticity is rare. A man who's genuinely himself stands out, not because he's trying to, but because everyone else is trying so hard. You become generous, not from depletion, from abundance. You have so much internal fullness that giving doesn't diminish you. You can give without keeping score. Generosity creates connection, real connection, the kind that can't be manufactured. You become free. In your work, no longer paralyzed by the need for approval. In your friendships, no longer managing dynamics. In your family, no longer controlled by old patterns. This freedom extends beyond her. It was never just about her. It was about becoming a man who doesn't need anything external to be okay. You become the man you were meant to be. Not some idealized version, but the authentic, grounded version that was always there. Freedom isn't a destination, it's a daily practice, constant, requiring vigilance. The old patterns still live in you, the hunger to control, the need for validation. They're quieter now, but they're not gone. The practice. Notice when you're being moved. Notice when her mood affects yours. Notice when you're trying to control an outcome. In that noticing, come back to center. Daily work. Not dramatic, just the consistent practice of remaining unmoved, choosing freedom over and over. The paradox: the more free you are from her, the more fully you can be with her. The less you need her, the more you can love her. This sounds contradictory, but it's the deepest truth. Genuine intimacy requires independence. Real connection requires separation. True love requires freedom. When you're desperate, you can only grasp. When you're attached to outcomes, you can only manage. But when you're free, genuinely free, you can be vulnerable without being fragile. You can love without losing yourself. This freedom expands. At work, more confident, less paralyzed by approval. With friends, more authentic. With family, old patterns don't land the same way. You move through the world differently. There's a groundedness, a calm, a sense that you're okay regardless of what happens. The responsibility: you must maintain it. You can't get comfortable, you can't stop practicing. Life will test you. She'll have a bad day, you'll feel the old pull to fix it. That's when you practice, that's when you stay grounded. She'll withdraw, you'll feel the old anxiety, the urge to chase. That's when you remain unmoved. Things will be good, you'll feel the old attachment growing. That's when you let go of outcomes. The practice never ends, but it gets easier. The center gets stronger. The freedom gets more stable. The warning. The moment you think you've mastered this is the moment you start losing it. The moment you stop practicing is the moment the old patterns creep back. Stay vigilant, not anxious, but aware, present, practicing. And remember the ultimate truth: the reward is not her, the reward is you. The man you become when you stop needing her validation. The life you build when you stop performing for approval. The peace you find when you accept uncertainty. The power you access when you stop trying to control. That's what this has been building toward. Not a technique, not a strategy, but a transformation. A way of being, a freedom that extends far beyond this one relationship and into every area of your life. You came here to learn how to get her, but what you've actually learned is how to get yourself. How to become the man who doesn't need her. And paradoxically, that's the man she can't live without. That's the ultimate reward of emotional freedom.